What's up guys? So I'm back for another video, and today's video is going to be how much money have I spent on the car that you see behind me. This video is not supposed to be something that's like me flexing on you guys or trying to make you guys jealous, so please don't leave that in the comments that this is all just a weird stunt. Instead, I'm trying to show you guys how expensive it is to build a reliable track car. Thankfully, the car behind me has proven to be pretty reliable, other than the transmission, which I like to hope is like a 1 in a million chance. I hope that a lot of people don't have the issue that I've had, because it was a pain. But I want to talk to you guys about how much this costs, so you guys don't jump into building a track car and expect it to be cheap, because it's not. But before I get into how much all this stuff costs, I do want to tell you guys to check out Auto Nirvana. It's a car clothing brand. It has a lot of awesome stuff. Use the code OREN10 for 10% off. Also check out Varus Engineering. They built the awesome rear diffuser down there, front splitter on my car, and the canards. Super awesome, high quality stuff. And lastly, check out Apex Race Parts. I know I'm not running their wheels yet, but I will be soon. So check out all those companies. Now I've fulfilled all my legal obligations. Let's get to the video. Now, a lot of the stuff that I have on my car is not 100% necessary to building a track car. For example, the headlights that I have on my car, no, the rest of it's kind of all necessary. Oh, the side mirrors, the APR side mirrors, those aren't exactly 100% necessary. Some of the stuff that I have is for looks, just to look cool, which can't go wrong with look stuff. A lot of the stuff is to make it a fast but reliable car. So I'm going to start off with the most important thing that you need to turn an FRS, or really any car, into a good track car, which is better tires. So the tires that I'm running right now are Toyo R888s. I haven't tried the R888Rs, but I'm considering getting them as my next tires, so if anyone has experience, leave them down below. I've also had the Bridgestone RE71Rs. They're both really high quality race compound tires, and I definitely would recommend both of them. To be honest, I didn't really feel the difference between the RE71Rs and the R888s, but I guess it's a good thing because they both were amazing. Now, in the 245 by 40 by 17 size that I got them, these tires cost $654 for the 71Rs and $747 for the R888s. So the R888s cost a little bit more, but they do have less of a tread wear. Both really amazing tires, but that shows you off the bat that those each cost around $700, and those are things that you have to replace. They're not something that you buy once and then you're good. You have to replace them like every so often, so you can see this stuff really starts to add up. Now, the next thing a lot of people do when they're building a track car is get new wheels. If they want wider tires, they need new, bigger wheels. And the ones that I'm running right now are RPF ones. These are Enkis, and they're pretty much known as the cheapest lightweight track tires that you can find. The size that I got them for $1,275. So you can see this stuff is already starting to add up. Like, if you're kind of balling on a budget, this together, the wheels and tires combination, brings you up to about $2,000, which is like a lot off the bat for anybody. Now, the next thing that a lot of people do to their cars to make it more track friendly is coilovers or springs, all that kind of stuff. I would recommend, like I said in my last video where I told you guys not to buy the same part twice, I'd recommend if you're gonna buy anything, just buy coilovers. Don't do springs and then maybe eventually upgrade to coilovers, because it'll cost you more in the long run. The coilovers that I'm running right now are actually not the ones that you guys know about. These are actually new, and this is the first time I'm announcing that I got new coilovers. I'm currently running JRZ RS2s. They're really high quality, awesome coilover. I haven't really had the chance to play with them yet, but this Saturday I'll be at the track to test them out. The last ones that I was running were HKS Hypermax 4 SPs. They were really good too, but I just really wanted to step that game up. So the HKS Hypermaxes were about $1,600, so decent amount of money, and then the JRZ RS2s were a lot more than that. They were $5,000. So you can see like this stuff really starts to add up on a track car, especially when you pick a car as cheap and affordable as the FRS, like mine behind me. This is known as like the cheap, inexpensive car to get if you want to do track stuff, and you can see this stuff is already starting to add up to the price of, like, if you buy a new FRS, then all this stuff together will bring you up to like almost the price of like a Ford Focus RS, I think. Don't quote me on that, I'm bad with numbers. Now, the next stuff that I want to talk about is the exhaust system on my car. I'm currently running the Greddy Revolution RS exhaust. That's the 3-inch exhaust. And then I also have the JDL unequal length headers with black coating and Burke catless front pipe. So the exhaust system is not done because I've told you guys already I'm planning on going forced induction, and I think I want to have a full 3-inch back for the forced induction to make sure that it all is good. I will have to do some upgrades to the exhaust, but right now all the exhaust pieces that I have cost $900 for the unequal length headers, $185 for the front pipe, and $600 for the catback. So that altogether is about $1,600 for the entire exhaust system. And honestly, it might be my favorite part on the car. Like driving this car around and just hearing it go, the catalyst setup is just so nice. And also, I don't know which part directly to attribute it to, but I think it's just all of it working together. It sounds so good for a catless cars. A lot of catless cars or straight pipe cars, they sound like really rattly and metally and just awful. And I've been next to a bunch of FRSs on the track, which are straight pipe, that just sound metally and gross. But my car, I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I think like the combination sounds really, really good. It wasn't exactly cheap, but it definitely is probably my favorite part on the car, which is why you guys see me do so many exhaust setups and like so many exhaust videos. Now the next piece of the car, that's something that you might want to upgrade. I think with any car, because a lot of factory brakes don't really hold the test of track cars, but I've actually been very surprised with the factory brakes on the FRS and BRZ, because I upgraded the pads, lines and fluid on this car, and it bites. Like the stock brake calipers, they like do a really good job. I've actually been very impressed with the quality of the stock brake caliper. Nonetheless, I have bought new ones. I have not installed them on the car yet, and I don't think I've announced it anywhere but my Instagram, so if you're not following my Instagram, you're kind of missing out. I bought Brembo GT brakes for the front and back. They're 4-piston in the front, 2-piston in the rear, and they're red, which is like the coolest brake caliper color. Those were about $2,200 per axle, which in total is about $4,400. The most expensive thing that I've named so far, other than the coilovers, that was a tough one for my bank account. But yeah, the brakes on the car are something you really, really do not want to cheap out on, and this is something that I didn't. Brembo is a very good company, and so I decided to go with them to upgrade my brakes so that they'll have braking capacity when I go force induction. If you have an FRS or a BRZ and you're wondering if you should be doing upgrade calipers and brakes and that kind of stuff, I've driven not track-oriented brake calipers on the FRS. That was a really complicated way of saying it. I drove the Wildwood 6-piston front, 4-piston rear brakes, and honestly, I didn't notice that much of a difference from the stock ones with upgraded pads, lines, and fluid. So if you are not planning on going force induction, I would not recommend getting new calipers. You could get new rotors, but it's just not necessary unless you're going force induction. Next, I got some miscellaneous stuff, like I got a shark antenna, Toyota emblems, I got the mirrors, I got side markers, the headlights. Tow hooks are definitely necessary. Those were $250. Now I got the aggressive rear diffuser by Veris. That's the one that you see right here, and it looks really cool. It definitely has settled down the back. I put the rear diffuser on when I did the front diffuser and the canards, so I can't tell you how each piece affected the car individually, but altogether it provides a much more stable experience at fast speeds. I really, really am happy with them, and I really, really like Veris as a company because they have a lot of graphs and data backing up all their products, which is something that I really looked for with all this stuff. I couldn't find any data to go along with any of the other brands' splitters or diffusers and that kind of stuff, so I chose Veris because they were literally the only ones I could find with data, and I have not regretted that purchase one bit. The rear diffuser cost $530, the front splitter cost $520, and the canards, which were also called dive planes, were $231. So that together was about $1,400 for all the aero that's on the car. I think that it did definitely have a difference in the handling of the car, but I think this stuff also goes under the category of if you're not going to go force induction, then you don't need it. A lot of the stuff that I'm talking about with this list is, do you need it? Now, I wanted aerodynamics for the car. That's the reason that they're on the car right now, despite the fact that I don't have any force induction yet. I wanted the aero on the car, one, because I think it looks cool, and two, because it is performance oriented and it does help with performance. But if you're building a car that is not going force induction and you're trying to do this as cheap as possible, you don't really need the aero, at least until you go force induction. Now moving inside the car, I have an aftermarket seat to help grip me down, which I think it really enhances the driving experience, and I've gotten feedback from a lot of other people that have sat in my car but don't have aftermarket seats in their car, and they've said that it does actually feel a lot better and really makes the driving experience more fun. I got the Sparco Evos. Those were $800, but one thing I didn't realize when I bought those seats was you also need the adapter and the side plate adapters. I don't know, you need two kinds of adapters, one for your car and one to do the side mounts of the Evo, and so those were $75 for the side mount and $134 for the actual car mount. So that in itself was $200 on top of the seat, which is about $1,000 for the one seat. That does not include the passenger seat, which I haven't done, and that's why I haven't done it yet. I'm dreading the day that I have to buy the passenger seat because I don't even sit in that seat. Also, I have a roll bar inside the car for safety. I did make the mistake of buying a initial product and then upgrading, which I told you guys not to do in my last video. I bought a harness bar, and now I'm selling it. If you want it, hit me up. But I'm selling that now, and I bought a roll bar instead for more safety. So once again, make sure you know what you're purchasing and buy something that you're gonna want long term. Don't make the mistake of buying the same thing over and over. Anyway, the roll bar was $780, and the harness bar was $600. So for $180, I could have gotten the one that I wanted and not lost money on the harness bar. So make sure you guys know what you're buying, and make sure you guys buy the best thing you can buy in your price range. In addition to that, you need a 6-point harness, or I got a 6-point harness from Sparco. That was $390, so you can see the interior really adds up fast. That's about, I want to say $2,600 of stuff in the interior, not including the new steering wheel that I got. But I got that for a discount, so I'm not going to talk about it really. I really do like the steering wheel though. Oh, last but not least, the IRP short shifter, which cost $510. It is a bit pricey, but that one, I don't know, I really like the IRP short shifter after I got the rattle fixed. It definitely has satisfied me a lot. That was a weird thing to say about a shifter. So now going down to the final suspension parts, these are like the last things that I really want to talk about in this video. I have SPL rear LCAs, which are lower control arms, and then I have white line 20mm in the front and 60mm in the back sway bars. To be honest, I don't really feel a difference in the sway bars, like just kind of being blunt. I definitely noticed a difference with the coilovers, but I've heard that if you do coilovers, sway bars really don't make a difference, and I can vouch for that. I haven't really noticed a difference in the performance after doing them, which sadly they cost $253 for the front and $184 for the back, so that was kind of money down the drain in my opinion. And the rear lower control arms were $539. So the only other thing that I purchased for the car that I haven't mentioned yet is a lap timer, and if you race often at the track, I would definitely recommend getting that. I'm gonna make a separate video on the lap timer and some tools that are necessary for track days, but the lap timer is a really useful tool. It's the new AIM Solo 2, and it costs $350 with a $35 mount. At the end of the day, all this stuff comes together to cost a lot of money. Like, building a track car is a lot of money. And I guess like the moral of this video and the message that for any of you guys who stayed the entire way through are hopefully gonna get is don't do what I did. Like, don't do this race car. It's so much money, and it's just like, it's like a lot. And what I've realized at the end of the day is you can have fun in any sport-oriented car if you build it correctly. And like, if you have like a small sum of money, you can have a really good time. And the time that I noticed that, like the experience that I had, which made me realize it really doesn't matter how expensive your car is one time I was at Buttonwillow with some of my friends. It was a couple Buttonwillows back, or no, not Buttonwillow, Fontana. It was on Fontana. I was at Fontana with some of my friends, and one of my friends took me out in his Miata. And it was just a Miata with, I think, wheels, and it maybe had a harness bar and maybe coils, like teen coils, like nothing super fancy. And he went out there and he was just kind of like drifting the corners and just having some fun, you know? And like, he had a bigger smile on his face than anyone that I've ever seen in auto. Cannot express it enough. And that Miata costs so, like, all of the money I put into modifications for my car, I could have bought his Miata and built it into what it is, not including the cost of the initial car that I bought. It just goes to show you that you can, if you don't care about what car you're buying and you just try to build like the cheapest car possible, you can have a really good time. So don't build the FRS that I have behind me. Don't do that kind of stuff. Buy a Miata. That's the moral of the story. Buy a Miata. Okay, I'm gonna leave this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter, and buy a Miata. I'll see you guys next time. And last note, track day this Saturday, so expect a track video and a review of the JRZ RS2s. Okay, bye.